Right, so at the same time as all this heavy rock stuff was coming out, I was getting into the occult. I don't know if you remember Tipper Gore when she got those labels put onto CDs, saying, that the occult the heavy metal will lead you to the occult. Well, she was absolutely right. I'm a total living proof that she was right. Black Sabbath, the lyrics of Ronnie James Dio, Rainbow, Led Zeppelin, all those bands that were dabbling in this kind of magical stuff as well as their music, just led me straight down that. And of course then I discovered the works of Uncle Aleister Crowley.
Of course, and I've read a lot of his work.
I joined a magical lodge at the age of 18, and they taught me Hermetic magic, which is the stuff that is linked to the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, a sort of Victorian magical order that really paved the way for a lot of what we do now in modern paganism and magic like that. So that was all going on. I was dressing in complete black. My bedroom was black. My carpet was black. But I never fully pulled it off because I was blonde.
Right.
So I never could.
You never quite made the leap to dye your hair.
No. But you see, goth wasn't what I was after. I was looking at Richie Blackmore, the Man in Black. I was looking at it wasn't a goth thing. It was a mysterious
I can empathise with that.
thing,
I'm quite similar. Yeah, I'm quite similar.
Yeah. And so I was getting into all of that, and that then finally the magical, the ceremonial magic lodge kind of split up. They sometimes do. They implode sometimes. And it left me in a kind of spiritual no man's land. So I thought back and I looked back in my memory and I remembered Robin of Sherwood.
Oh wow!
And
that's
I
good,
remembered
I mentioned it earlier, so that's quite
exactly. Yeah, I remembered Robin of Sherwood. I remembered Herne the Hunter, and I remembered the feeling I got when I saw that horned image in the mists in the woods. And I thought maybe I'm a pagan. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm not meant to be a magician. Maybe I'm meant to be a pagan. So I sent off for the Pagan Federation, Guild of Pagans, and one of the other things I sent off for was a little tiny advert in a magazine called Prediction, and it was a little tiny classified ad. And it said, "Are you interested in green spirituality? If you are, you might be interested in the work of the Druids." So I sent off for some information of the Order of Bards, Ovates and Druids, and in my mind I just thought, and looking at my face in the screen here, I've finally achieved this archetype. But I just thought, oh, Druids, old men with white beards and long hair,
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But in Stonehenge, and I thought, well, okay, we'll send it off. And when it arrived, it mentioned the path of the Bard, that there is a sacred tradition from these islands, and not just these islands, but Western Europe, and Northern Europe, of this sacred poet, of this walking storyteller and newspaper of the day that could traverse through words and music this veil between the other world and this world and all that kind of stuff.
I think it's hard for people to appreciate nowadays. Like, we have obviously so much media and everything, and we can all read and write for the most part nowadays. But back in the day, a hell of a lot of people were illiterate. There was no media for people to sort of read, or like most people didn't read newspapers and stuff like that. Whether it was like morals or traditions or stories, they were all passed down through the bards. So the role of the bard historically was massively important. Hugely important.
And also imagine that the only time that you could hear music is when a human being who could play an instrument turned up at your village.
In your presence,
You couldn't turn on the radio. You couldn't listen to Spotify. You couldn't put on a CD or vinyl or any of the other things we've had. That's the only time it was available.
So they would have been valued massively.
Yeah.
The bard would have been valued.
Oh, absolutely. And I read that and I thought, this could be it. So I sent off and got this information back, saw the tradition of the bard, and just joined OBOD in April 94.
Joined what, sorry?
The Order of OBOD, the Order of Bards, Ovates and Druids, April 94. I sent off for their intro pack for their course in April 94, and then joined in September. And really, that was it for me. I found my home.